comment,
and subscribe for more content.
Where's the notification bell?
It's to the right of you.
Oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this edition of a Funko Popcast. I am DK Wrestler.
And I am MD Shady.
And in today's podcast, we have a jam-packed podcast with a lot of Funko Pop announcements ranging from May 4th to May 16th. Next week on the pod, we will begin discussing about Funkoween reveals, which day 2 is actually going to begin today as we are recording this podcast, where on next week's podcast, we will discuss all 3 days of Funkoween and do our top 10 Funko Pop list for the month of May 2022. How crazy that International DK Wrestler Month has flew by this fast already. But without further ado, I might as well start off with the first set of Funko Pop announcements, since there are a lot of Funko Pop announcements to go, kicking off on May 4th, which was pretty much a full day of Star Wars reveals. We have the next pop involved in the Red Saber series Pop Deluxe set, which is of Darth Maul, obviously a glow-in-the-dark pop exclusive to GameStop, and this is expected to release as early as July 2022. On that same day, Funko had finally announced the Star Wars Celebration Funko Pops for 2022, which the list we have here is Darth Vader, which will be shared to the Funko Shop in the US and Toys R Us here in Canada, Luke Skywalker, which will be shared with Box Lunch in the US, Stormtrooper, which will be shared with GameStop in both Canada and the US, Princess Leia, which will be shared with FYE in the US and Sunrise Records in Canada, Chewbacca, which will be shared with Target in the US and Toys R Us here in Canada, and then a 5-pack involving all 5 of those pops that I just mentioned, which will be shared with Amazon in both Canada and the US, a Diamond Collection R2-D2, which will be a part of a Pop and Backpack bundle, which will be limited to 3,000 pieces and shared to the Funko Shop, a Lando Calrissian with Millennium Falcon Pop Rides, which will be shared with Amazon in both Canada and the US, a Diamond Collection Grogu, which will be limited to 5,000 pieces and shared with Reed Pop in the US, a Concept Series R2-D2 and C-3PO 2-pack, which will be shared with the Disney Shop, and then a Concept Series Darth Vader, which will also be shared to the Disney Shop in the US only, and these will be released on May 27th at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time at the shared retailers, but obviously will be released at the con the day prior on May 26th. On that same day, GameStop would announce an 18-inch variant of Boba Fett, which this is expected to release as early as September 2022. And then on that same day, the final announcement for May 4th, Hot Topic had announced their own exclusive pop of Naito Monoma from My Hero Academia, which this is available now both in stores and online. Then on May 5th, Funko had announced a pop of Zorro from the TV series Zorro, which this is expected to release as early as July 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced a pop comic covers of Elektra, which that is expected to release as early as September 2022. Once again, on that same day, Funko had announced the next die-cast pop in the Star Wars lineup, which of course is Darth Vader, which has a 1-in-6 silver chase and will be a Funko Shop exclusive. Unknown of when this will be releasing. On that same day, once again, Funko had announced new pops for the Disney Plus series Moon Knight, which we have ourselves a 10-inch Temple of Khonshu statue and Amit, which both of those will be Target exclusives. And Funko had announced the first reveal of San Diego Comic-Con exclusives with one from Moon Knight, which is of Scarlet Scarab. Unknown yet of where this will be sharing to, but of course, this would be releasing around the time of San Diego Comic-Con, which would be, I think, the second last week of July, if I'm not mistaken. Then on May 6th, Funko had announced a new set of pops called Power of the Galaxy, which the first pop involved is Padme Amidala, which this will be an Amazon exclusive. On that same day, Funko had announced a pop of Scar with Meat from The Lion King, which will be a specialty series exclusive, and this is expected to release as early as September 2022. And the last announcement for this set of Funko Pops, we got ourselves a new pop of Tinkerbell for the Disney Classics lineup, which there is a 1-in-6 Angry Chase, in which this is available now both online and in stores. All right, so kicking off with the Darth Maul Red Saber series pop, This is pretty decent. I'm excited for this Red Saber series of pops, and especially the way that Darth Maul looks here, where essentially his eyes are squinted and you got the double-sided lightsaber. You get that cool Mustafar base, and I can't wait to get this because I do plan on getting this entire set. Then we got ourselves the Star Wars Celebration Funko Pops, starting off obviously with the singular pops, which these are okay. I think really my two favorites would have to be the Luke Skywalker and the Stormtrooper, because I felt those pops were the ones that really needed revamps compared to the other ones. The Chewbacca just seems like one that they have made from a previous lineup of Star Wars, except they added the silver base. The Darth Vader wasn't really necessary in my opinion. And then Princess Leia is also pretty decent because it's an upgrade from the original one. And then, yeah, I would have to say the best one out of these single ones have to be Luke Skywalker, because we haven't seen this version of Tatooine Luke Skywalker without his lightsaber yet. The 5-pack, I'm not going to go into it because I know that MD Shady has something to say about the 5-pack, like he's always mentioned, so I'm going to leave it up to him. Then we have the Diamond Collection R2-D2. That's a pop-in Bat-Pack bundle, and this is okay. I mean, did R2-D2 really need to be Diamond Collection? Not really. Probably would have been better if it was metallic. Then we got the Millennium Falcon with Lando Calrissian, which this is okay. We've already gotten the Han Solo with the Millennium Falcon in the past, and I think that was enough. Then we got the 5,000-piece Diamond Collection Grogu, which this is okay once again. I mean, I'm glad that this is a limited piece because I do think that only a select amount of people would actually want to get this. Then we got ourselves the concept series pops for Star Wars Celebration, and these are okay. They're okay because we've already gotten singular pops of the C-3PO and R2-D2, but they're slapped into a 2-pack this time, which does make sense because they're always together. It's not like that random 4-pack they did where they included the one Darth Vader and the Yoda, which kind of didn't make sense in a way. But it's cool that they did a 2-pack, especially if you only wanted R2-D2 and C-3PO, and then they might have sold out as the commons. Now you have an opportunity to get them as a 2-pack with this Star Wars Celebration exclusive. And this Darth Vader is pretty decent. I like the posing where he has the one lightsaber sticking out in the one hand, and he's using kind of the Force pose with the other hand. Then we got ourselves the 18-inch Boba Fett, which this is meh. And it's meh because we're just seeing a glam shot we've already seen. It doesn't show really a comparison of what the pop actually looks like compared to the 4-inch version, or even I think at this point is the 10-inch version where we had this exact mold. I mean, I'm going to have to see this in person to further give my opinion on this pop, because at the moment I can't really determine how cool it looks in 18-inch. Then we got the character from My Hero Academia, which I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. And for some reason, I don't remember this character. Maybe this is a character from season 5, which I have not watched yet. But this is pretty decent, especially for the fact that it has a new Hot Topic exclusive sticker where it says Hot Topic Class 1B exclusive. I think that's really cool. Then we got ourselves Zoro, which this is a bit random, but it's cool at the same time. I remember seeing Zoro. It's one of those things that you think of at a time, maybe that's cool, but I don't know when it's going to happen. And then by the time it happened, which is now, you kind of forgot about Zoro. So it's cool that it kind of refreshes my memory about Zoro in the fact that they made it into a Funko Pop. So it's cool that they ended up doing that. Then we got ourselves Elektra, which this is a pretty decent pop comic covers. I like this look of Elektra, pretty different from what I'm used to seeing Elektra as. Then we got ourselves the die-cast Darth Vader for the Star Wars die-cast lineup. And I knew when the Boba Fett die-cast pop got announced that Darth Vader had to be next. And this might actually be the first die-cast pop I might fork out to get, just because it makes sense for Darth Vader to be in that die-cast form. Then we got the new Moon Knight pops, which when these were announced, it was literally the day after the final episode of the season came out. And I was a little disappointed that I didn't get to see the season because this was a bit of spoiler for me, but not really at the same time. And these are some really cool pops. I like the 10-inch pop of Khonshu, and I like the fact that they made the statue as a 10-inch figure, because now you're getting a comparison between all the characters and I guess objects when you have a statue, which obviously would be much bigger than an actual human, which, by the way, I will mention to anyone who hasn't seen this episode of Moon Knight, which probably MD Shady is one of them if I were to predict correctly. This was a really good episode of Moon Knight, probably actually the best episode they pulled off. So this was cool, and especially really surprising that they actually have an early announcement of SDCC exclusives essentially. And I think that this pop looks pretty sweet. I liked this moment in Moon Knight where I guess I can't really explain what happens because, like I mentioned, MD probably has not seen this episode of Moon Knight yet, but still pretty cool Moon Knight pop per se. And this set is looking pretty fire. Then we got ourselves the Padme Amidala pop. It's funny because I felt a lot of bad hype as terms to the Star Wars Celebration pops that were announced was because a lot of people were requesting 20th anniversary Attack of the Clone pops, because actually this past Monday was the 20th anniversary of Attack of Clones, which I did rewatch for that sake. And I still think to this day, it's actually the worst film out of the 9 films that have been released. So, I mean, I know that's going to tick a lot of people off right now, but that's just my opinion. But I remember this Padme is actually from Attack the Clones, so I guess it was almost like Funko seen the comments like, let's release a Padme, even though this probably has been in production for at least 6 months. So I can't wait to see what else is a part of Power of the Galaxy lineup. Maybe there's going to be a new Princess Leia, probably, because it's probably going to be based off of, like, I guess, authority figures. Then we got ourselves the new Scar pop, Scar with meat for the Lion King, and this is pretty decent. I don't remember the last time we had a Scar pop besides those Pop Deluxe where it was the Disney Treasures boxes, which I believe was the last one we ever got for those boxes. Now, as I think about it, I can't remember exactly what scene this is from because I barely watched Lion King. And once again, this is going to be another unpopular opinion, but I think that Lion King is one of, if not the most overrated Disney movie of all time. Then we got ourselves the Tinkerbell pop, which I know this was released and technically talked about like maybe a month beforehand, but we were just waiting for Hot Topic to finally confirm it on their website before we can talk about it on the podcast. And this is okay, but the chase honestly is the worst chase of 2022 thus far. As terms of the glam shot, it looks like it can be a decent chase because obviously it's in a grumpy pose. It makes sense that Tinkerbell's face would be a little bit like blemished as terms to being red there. But when you look at the actual pop that came out and you see people getting it in stores, the red blemish does not look good at all. You cannot tell until you actually pull the pop out from the shelf and see that there is a chase sticker on there that this is the chase figure. If you took the pops out of box and you were going to tell me, guess what is the common and guess what is the chase, I would not be able to tell because that's how bad the chase ended up being. I mean, I'm sure people have already bought it regardless because maybe they have an entire Tinkerbell collection, but it's bad. That's all I got to say.
Okay, starting off with the second pop in the Red Saber series, we have the glow-in-the-dark Darth Maul, and this is pretty sweet. I enjoy this. Darth Maul pops are always pretty dang cool, so it's awesome to see that he is in the set. I mean, I think we all could have figured out that, yeah, he was going to be part of the set, but this Darth Maul is nice. I do like the squinted eyes. He looks cool on that base, though I don't think Darth Maul really ever fought in like a terrain like that necessarily. But that being said, this set is going to look awesome. Then we have the first pops for Star Wars Celebration, and they're okay. These pops look good, but I just think that, like DK kind of said, it's a lot of stuff that we've seen before besides the Luke and the Stormtrooper. The Darth Vader, I feel like we've seen pops that look exactly like that. The Princess Leia actually looks pretty sweet. It is a nice kind of upgraded figure, but I don't think we necessarily needed to see that. The Chewbacca is probably the worst just because he's pretty identical to a lot of the different Chewbaccas that we've seen recently. Stormtrooper's awesome. It's great that we're seeing a Stormtrooper head like this that's not a Sandtrooper or a 10-inch pop, and it has the lenses that look good rather than the circular pop eyes, which we see with the original Stormtrooper pop. And then we have Luke, and Luke looks pretty good in this way with the Tatooine attire on. I like the pose that they gave him, so it doesn't seem like such a boring pop, because realistically it is kind of a boring figure, but they tweaked it a little bit so that it's just not straight armed. And then we have those 5 pops crammed together in a 5-pack. I don't see why this is necessary. It's a weird 5-pack, that's for sure. It's very odd, especially with the kind of attire that they have on with, I guess, at least Luke, where he has the Tatooine attire on. And I feel like this could have been a decent 4-pack if they would have taken out the Darth Vader and the Stormtrooper and added Han Solo in this set. That just makes sense. These 5 together in a 5-pack just do not make sense to me. But I don't know, maybe if this was a limited piece, then that would have been decent. Then we have the Diamond Collection R2D2 with the X-Wing backpack, and this is okay. DK summed it up pretty well. I think a metallic R2D2 would have made a little bit more sense, but for some reason, people are fans of Diamond Collection, which I don't really understand. So I wouldn't be surprised if people want to get this, but I do think the highlight is that backpack. It does look really great. Then we have the pop rides of the Millennium Falcon with Lando. And I don't know how I feel about this. It makes sense, obviously, because Lando does have the Millennium Falcon or did own it at some point. And yeah, I don't know. I just think that the Han Solo was enough. I don't think, unless you're just a mega Star Wars fan, that you're going to want to have two of these pretty big pop rides. Next up, we have the Diamond Collection Grogu, and this is cool that it is a limited piece count. I think that it makes the diehard fans that want to collect every Grogu pop, or people who are trying to collect every Diamond Collection pop, gives them a little bit of a challenge, which isn't like anything crazy. I believe this is 3,000 piece. It's not bad. It's a decent way to do this. Obviously, this pop sold very, very well, so why not make it Diamond Collection? Because they know they're going to sell every single one of these pieces. Then we have the Concept Series 2-pack of R2D2 and C3PO, and this is decent. I like these. The Concept Series pops are pretty cool to me. I like the idea of them. Would I collect them? I don't know about that, but I do think that the R2 and the C3PO are two of the better ones, so making them into a 2-pack is a great idea. And then we have the Darth Vader concept series, and this is a little bit different from the one that we originally seen. I like how he has the like force choking pose kind of going on, and then he still has his saber, which is nice. Overall, it's a decent pop. Did we need a second Darth Vader for the concept series? I don't know, but I do think I like this one a bit better. Next up, we have the 18-inch Boba Fett, and this is pretty cool. I mean, people love Boba Fett. I personally do enjoy the 18-inch figures, so I think that this is going to look awesome. I might even consider getting this, though I don't know where I would keep another 18-inch pop in my collection, but I do think that this one is going to turn out very well and might be one of the better selling 18-inch pops besides maybe the Pikachu, which I assume probably sold pretty dang well. Next up, we have the Hot Topic exclusive My Hero Academia Nito Monama, I believe is how that would be pronounced. I could be wrong. This is one of my least favorite My Hero Academia figures. It's just, there's not a whole lot going on with it. You can't really tell what his quirk is through this pop, which with a lot of the other My Hero figures, you can kind of tell. Yeah, this has got to be one of my least favorite My Hero figures. Next up, we have Zoro, and this is pretty dang sweet. I like this a lot, actually. I kind of forgot about Zoro until this pop was announced, and I honestly think that it looks great. I think that the pose is interesting, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more Zoro pops in the near future with some different poses, and maybe a Zoro that has some kind of chase version. I think that that'd be a cool idea. Next up, we have the Elektra comic book covers, and this is pretty decent, but at the same time, I feel like it's just a little plain. It's one of my least liked comic book covers, but I do like how it does represent the cover very well. The pose is quite the same, but there's just not enough going on with this pop, I think, which makes it kind of boring. Then we have the next diecast pop, and it is going to be Darth Vader, which I think is a great idea. Darth Vader makes a lot of sense to be diecast, and I think that this is going to sell pretty well, maybe even better than a lot of the other ones we've seen. I'm assuming that the Boba Fett probably sold very, very well. So having a second Star Wars one and it being Darth Vader makes a lot of sense. It's going to sell well. And we are seeing the return of the Silver Chase, which originally I didn't like the idea of this, but after seeing one in video, I guess you could say it wasn't in person, it doesn't look as bad. It does look more like the diecast, like it's like an unpainted version, basically, which I think makes sense. It's not like painted silver is what I'm getting out of it. So I like that because it does really show off that, like, hey, this is a diecast figure. This is metal, which is cool. I like that, but I do think that the common is kind of the one a lot of people are going to want. And then we have the Moon Knight pops, and we make fun of MD Shady for not watching Moon Knight. Well, guess what? I still have to watch the last episode. But I am caught up until the last episode now. So yeah, these pops are pretty dang cool. The Moon Knight set has been awesome. There's been a lot of really great pops, and it's really been making me want to collect these pops because they all look so good. First up, we have the 10-inch Khonshu statue, which is pretty decent. I like this. I think it's a cool idea. That might be one of the pops I could probably skip on in the Moon Knight set, but I do think it's a great pop. And then we have this lizard character, which I forget the name of, but this is awesome. There's so much detail going on with this. This could have easily been a con exclusive pop just because of how great it looks. And then we have the first look at a new San Diego Comic-Con exclusive pop, which is great. I think that this pop looks amazing. The scarab attire like that just looks so sweet. And this might be a pop that I might need to get my hands on because I do think it's one of the better ones. And it's the best version we've seen so far of this character. Then we have the Power of the Galaxy Padme Amidala, and this is decent. I like this. Obviously, it is the attire from Attack of the Clones in at least some part of the movie, closer to the beginning, I believe. This looks okay. I definitely think that we do need some more Padme Amidala pops because it just makes sense to have more. She deserves more. She's a pretty big character in all of Star Wars. And then we have Scar with the meat, and this pop looks sweet. I like the way he's posed, kind of laying down with that, what I could assume is a zebra leg. Obviously, you can see the scar on his face, and it's part of this villains lineup, which I think is awesome. I think it makes sense to do a villains lineup, and I can't wait to see what other pops we get in this set because there's a lot of potential to see some really, really cool Disney villains pops. And this Scar's pretty awesome. I kind of wish we would have seen a chase version of this of some sort where maybe he could have had the meat kind of pulling with his mouth or in his mouth of some sort. Some kind of chase I think would have been nice and would have made sense for a Scar pop like this. And then we have the Angry Sitting Tinkerbell, the Hot Topic exclusive. This pop is okay. I feel like the deluxe Tinkerbell pop that we've seen, I don't think there's going to be a better Tinkerbell pop than that for quite some time. So this one feels like a little bit of like a letdown or a downgrade of some sort, because why wouldn't you get the other pop over this one? Unless, like DK mentioned earlier, you were some kind of big Tinkerbell collector. And then there's the chase version, and I don't see why that this chase version was just the common and there wasn't a chase version. And then, like DK mentioned, that it doesn't look good in person. So it's just a major fail by Funko in total.
Are you looking for great pop protectors? Then look no further than popbox.ca. They have a variety of 4-inch and 6-inch protectors in different quantities. Do you want to get 10 protectors, 20? You can get even up to 250 pop protectors over on popbox.ca. And also use our promo code of Funko Popcast for 10% off of your entire purchase of pop protectors. The code is going on until supplies last. So go get your pop protector needs now over on popbox.ca using our code of Funko Popcast to get 10% off.
And let me tell you guys, we're not just screwing around here. These are some great pop protectors. We own a multitude of these protectors. They are some of the best I've seen. Stop buying from EB Games. I'm not boycotting EB Games by any means, but their pop protectors are not as good. So again, use code of Funko Popcast for 10% off.
All right, so the next set of Funko Pops range from May 11th to May 16th. So kicking off May 11th, we got ourselves a Pop Movie Moments of Lilo and Stitch in Hammock, which was announced by Hot Topic, and it's their own exclusive. And this is available now both online and at various Hot Topic stores. Then on May 12th, Funko had announced a new set of pops for the NBA lineup, which I'm pretty sure this is called the City Lights edition of all of these basketball players, which we got ourselves Giannis Antetokounmpo, probably botched that like usual, Jason Tatum, Kawhi Leonard, Trae Young, Anthony Davis, and Devin Booker, which these are expected to release as early as August 2022. On that same day, Funko had announced a non-glow-in-the-dark version of the Venom Pop comic covers, which will also be a previews exclusive and will be expected to release at some point in the summer. Then on May 13th, Funko had announced the next pop involved in the Guardianship Pop Deluxe set exclusive to Walmart, which is of Gamora, and that is expected to be released at some point in the summer also. Once again, on that same day, Funko had announced a set of pops for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which we got pops of Edward Elric with a 1-in-6 glow-in-the-dark chase, Olivier Mira Armstrong, Riza Hawkeye, and Scar, which these are expected to release as early as October 2022. Then Big Boys Toy Store had announced their own exclusive Mickey Go Philippines pop, which we got ourselves a regular variant along with a 1-in-6 sepia chase variant, which this is available now on the Big Boys Toy Store website as either singular pops or a 6-pop bundle. And then last but not least, on May 16th, the day before Funkoween reveals had begun, Funko had announced a pop comic covers of Thor, which will be a specialty series exclusive, and this is expected to release as early as August 2022. So kicking off with the Lilo and Stitch pop movie moments, which this is actually pretty decent. I'm not going to crap on it because of the fact that it's another Stitch pop and we don't have any more pops yet of newer characters other than Lilo and Stitch, but this is pretty decent. It's a little bit refreshing. It's not just a Stitch pop. You got a Lilo pop, and I think there's going to be a decent amount of people that are going to end up getting this, in my opinion. Then we got the NBA pops, which there's nothing really to discuss about NBA. We've had so many NBA pops of these players specifically, and now they're just milking the different kinds of jerseys at this point. And there was a lot of people that wanted to point out that there's literally been so many of these basketball players. Why isn't there a pop of this player or a pop of this player? I can't remember the names of the players, but they were different from the 6 that we're looking at right now. Then we have the pop comic covers of Venom, the non-glow-in-the-dark version, which actually on the podcast that featured Robbie D filling in for MD Shady, I actually did mention when talking about the glow-in-the-dark pop that Funko did originally announce 2 variants of a Venom pop comic covers, but later on in the day, Funko deleted the post and reposted it with only the glow-in-the-dark version, which made me think, was there going to be 2 variants being made and they just didn't want to announce one right away, or was it an accident and they showed what originally maybe the glow in the dark version was going to look like and then they just scrapped that idea and then it's never going to happen? But it answers my question now. There are some aspects to how I like both the glow in the dark and the non-glow in the dark. I like the background involved with this version more than the other one, just because you get a cool little like black background, but with like red spider webs in the background. While with the glow in the dark version that we talked about a few weeks back is just a simple plain red background, but you do get that glow in the dark specification for that version, which made up for it. While on this version, you don't have to get the glow in the dark version, but you do get a cool looking background. And it makes me think also, did they do this in the same reason that they did the Sonic the Hedgehog pop game covers, where maybe for some reason one cover was like a North American version and the other one was like a PAL version of the cover? That might be the logic of why Funko went with the 2 different style covers and made one glow in the dark and made one not glow in the dark. But I don't know, maybe anyone who is a huge comic book reader and is listening to this podcast might be able to answer my question on that case. But regardless, I think either one is cool. If you get the glow in the dark, that's cool. If you end up getting the non-glow and not the glow, that's still cool because they're both pretty excellent. Then we have the Gamora Pop Deluxe for this Guardianship set, and it's meh. I mean, clearly you can see that this is the front of the pop just by the way that the front of the base is, where it's got a little bit of an edging. So it's going to go beside the Drax, I believe, in the front there. And then we got the last 2 characters, which I don't remember, but I believe obviously if it's going off of the Guardians of the Galaxy theme, I would assume that it's going to be one of Groot and one of Rocket Raccoon. It just only makes sense. I could be wrong though, but this is meh. It's probably my least favorite of the deluxe pops they have made since starting these, I believe, in 2020. So I don't know. I'm not too excited. I'm going to have to see how this full set looks before evaluating the entire set. Then we got new pops for Full Metal Alchemist, except this time it is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I know they made Full Metal Alchemist pops a long time ago, and people were extremely pumped that now we have newer pops. That was the same case, I believe, with Attack on Titans. I think for the longest time we didn't have pops for that. I mean, we had a wave a long time ago, and then for the longest time there wasn't a new wave, and then they made new ones, I believe, and then people were pumped about that. I think it's the same situation here with the newer molds of some characters that were previously previously made. I think the Edward one might actually be the only one that was previously made from what I remember researching. And then all the other characters were new. Some people I know there was some bad hype in terms of the Scar pop. I think they wanted different color eyes and then requesting other characters that should have been here. But let's see how this set will sell first. And then I guess Funko will determine from there whether they're going to make more not Attack on Titans, more Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood pops from that point. But so far, decent looking set. Then we got the Mickey Go Philippines pops, which these are pretty decent. We had the Mickey Go Thailand pop last year. MD actually does own one of the pops, I believe, from a mystery box he got. They're selling the 6-pop bundle, which I mean, it makes sense if you want the chase, but what actually makes the 6-pop bundle unique, and I don't know how many people really know this, but with each of the common pops, they come with this like unique sticker involved with a store that's well known in the Philippines. So there will be obviously there will be a Mickey Mouse sticker, but then it'll be like a different color and it represents a store. So when you get the 6 pops, you will actually get each of the different stickers involved with these Mickey Mouse pops. Unlike if you were to buy them separately, then you might get the same sticker for a different store in the Philippines. So it's cool that they're making it that way. So it's more of a money grab, especially like I mentioned with being a sucker for having a bunch of different stickers in your collection. That's kind of a money grab to try and get as many different stickers as possible, is getting 6 of these Mickey Mouse pops, one being the chase, obviously, and then getting the stickers that way. I kind of like the way that the chase looks better than the common, in my opinion. I like the way that this kind of, sepia tone looks, where it's this brown instead of the black, and then you have the beige instead of the white. It's really unique. The common is still cool, but there's something about that chase that makes it very unique compared to a lot of Mickey Mouse pops we have gotten in the past. And then we have the Thor pop comic covers, the specialty series exclusive. And this is pretty decent. He's in the exact same pose as he's in the cover, where he's got the one arm sticking out. And then it's showing the illusion of Thor kind of spinning the Jolnir there, which it looks okay. I mean, I felt like they've pulled this kind of illusion off in the past a little bit better, in my opinion, than what they have here. But it's still pretty decent. And I mean, it's Thor, especially with the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder movie coming out in July. I mean, this was a perfect time for this to essentially be announced and to be sold, probably in time for when the Thor Love and Thunder movie comes out. Not one of my favorites, but it's still pretty decent.
All right, so we have a pop movie moments for Lilo and Stitch, and it's Lilo and Stitch on the hammock. And I think that this is pretty decent. This is one of the better Lilo and Stitch pops we've seen in a while. Obviously, there has been some complaints where we're seeing a ton of different versions of Stitch that we don't necessarily think we need when we want to see other characters that we haven't seen in the lineup, which I completely agree with. But this movie moments is great. I think it looks awesome. It's really nice, actually. It really is. And I think that if you want to get some Lilo and Stitch pops, I think that this is maybe one to get for sure, because it just has a lot of detail and it does definitely capture the moment between Lilo and Stitch in this pop. So overall, this is cool. And I'm glad it's a Hot Topic exclusive, because maybe if I get some hot cash and want to get a good deal on this thing, I might actually end up picking it up. Then we have the new NBA pops, and yeah, it's just different jerseys. I was thinking that the other day when I seen this glam shot, that I'm pretty sure we have pops of all of these characters. The Anthony Davis sticks out to me. I think that jersey looks cool, and obviously Anthony Davis is a very well-known NBA player. The Kawhi is okay. Still wish that we would have seen a Toronto Raptors jersey Kawhi Leonard, but unfortunately that is not going to happen. So yeah, overall, this is kind of a lackluster NBA set, and I think maybe it is time now that we see sports moments pops where you could see someone actually slam dunking the ball into a hoop. I think that that'd be great, or for any different sport really, because some of these sports pops are definitely getting stale nowadays. And then we have the common non-glow version of the Venom comic book cover, and this is cool. And from my knowledge, I believe that there are actually multiple different variations of the cover. There's obviously the red one that we've seen with the glow-in-the-dark pop, and then there's this one that we see now with kind of the red and black spider webbing, but there's also other color variations as well. So I don't know if we'll see the other color variations. I kind of hope that we don't, because I feel like it's just unneeded, but this is cool. I guess if you don't really love glow in the dark pops, this is kind of the one to get because this background does look pretty cool. I also do like the red background, though. I do think it makes the comic book cover itself kind of pop a little bit more. So I think I will probably still be going for the glow in the dark one when I do decide to pick this pop up. Then we have the fourth pop for the Guardians of the Galaxy Guardianship, and we have Gamora now. And oh, I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping that they get this done and over with. I really hope that what I could assume would be Rocket and Groot kind of get announced a little bit quicker because I just don't want to really talk about this anymore. I mean, it's not the nicest looking set. I understand it. I don't think it looks that great. I think it's kind of an ugly set. I also think that the way that they're positioned is just weird. I mean, it's accurate, but it's just weird for a display piece. I think that you're not going to be able to see every single pop very, very well unless you have it angled like in this glam shot. But I don't know. This is just a silly set. I think that I like the singular pops that we've seen of each of these characters better than this. And then we have this new wave for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and these pops are looking decent. I understand there's going to be the glow in the dark chase when you have the energy kind of going around a character from anime. That's kind of what Funko has been doing forever now, but I'm kind of getting sick of it a little bit. I think that maybe it should just be an exclusive pop and it comes glow in the dark no matter what. There's no common variation of it because I just feel like for a lot of collectors, they want to have both if they're a full like completionist, but at the same time, like, is it even necessary to have a non-glow and a glow in the dark version of a pop? I don't really know, but overall, this set does look pretty decent and it kind of makes me want to check out Full Metal Alchemist. I've definitely seen some of it. I think I've maybe watched an episode or two, but yeah, these pops look great. So this is definitely pretty cool. Then we have the Philippines Mickey Mouse, and this is cool. I like this, and I really enjoy the idea of having the different stickers represent the different stores, which is a great idea. I think that some people are definitely going to like that and some people won't. I think a lot of people will probably think like, ooh, why do I need 6 of this pop? But at the same time, I can definitely see the hardcore collectors who are going to want to get each one of those stickers. And it makes sense. I like the idea because it represents stores. I think if Funko started doing this with, like, let's say, for example, a SpongeBob pop, they put out a new SpongeBob pop and they throw on different exclusive stickers that look like the, whatever you'd call them, like the flowers that are in SpongeBob, and they have different variations. I think that that just doesn't really make sense. And that is kind of a super money grab because they know that the hardcore SpongeBob fans are going to want to get each one of those stickers, though the pop is exactly the same. But because it represents a store and these are exclusive for the Philippines, it makes sense. And then there's the chase version, which I also agree with DK. This is a really nice chase version. I really actually enjoy this better than the common. I don't think the common's bad, but I do like the sepia of this pop. I think it looks great and it's a different take on Mickey Mouse that we don't normally see a lot of variations like this. So yeah, this is awesome. And then last but not least, we have the Thor comic book cover, and this is pretty dang sweet. The cover itself is okay, but I like the way they executed the pop to make it look exactly like the cover. And then, like DK said, with the Jolnar that is spinning, I don't know if I like the way they did this. I think that they could have done it closer to what you see on the comic book cover, where they have just like a clear circle going around it rather than having multiple of it in clear, which I understand. I mean, on a normal pop, that would look great. But because of the way it looks on the comic book cover itself, I think that it would have made a little bit more sense to just be a full circle and then have Thor's hammer kind of being right there, kind of like how they did it. But I think it could have just been done a little bit better. But overall, this comic book cover is awesome, and I'm excited to see what other Marvel comic book covers we see in the future.
Anyways, guys, that is going to be the end of this week's podcast. If you enjoyed this week's edition of a Funko Popcast, make sure you smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and let us know your favorite pops from this selection we talked about today. Press the subscribe button for more content like this podcast and any other videos we do on this channel in the future, and press the little bell beside it to be notified of when that future content gets released. And if you guys haven't yet, follow us on all of our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Twitter and Instagram at a Funko Popcast. It'll be listed in the description below. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to this week's edition of the Funko Popcast, and we hope to see you guys next week when we discuss about all 3 days of Funkoween reveals and do our top 10 Funko Pops of International DK Wrestler Month, May 2022. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.
Well, hiya, pal.
Peace in, peace out.